Ignore this advice or take it from me. Be too nice, some people take you for a dummy.
In today's video, I'll be showing you how to take off the tire, check for shock absorbers, and checking your brakes. That's the main one. Let's be honest, checking in with your mechanic for a brake check is expensive for no reason. So, I'll be giving you a personal one. Alright, here we go. So, step number one, you're going to want one of these. You're going to need to lift the car, alright? Make sure you put this on the chassis so you don't, screw up the whole thing. Next up, you're going to want a torque adjuster, so when you want to put the wheel back on, it stays on correctly and not screws up the bolt. Next up, you're going to need something to actually take off the tire. You can use anything, I'm just going to use this because it seems reasonable. And you're also going to need the proper size for taking off said bolts. Alright. Step on number one.
Like a fiend, keep a pipe with him. Gentleman who lent a pen to a friend who write with him. Never seen this shit.
Put this on the chassis and just lift. Alright, so next up you're going to want to take off the tire. Put the wheels off, you're going to want to take this and just roll it out. You don't need it anymore. It's garbage.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
So you need it back. Alright, so now that you got your nice view of the flywheel, brakes, the calipers, and the suspension and the shock absorbers, you're going to want to take a flashlight and look into this hole. Now, unfortunately, I do not have a flashlight with me. You could see, but you can't.
What?
If there are two long rectangles, they're basically the brake pedals, and what they do is they stop the flywheel from moving, which in turn causes you to brake. If you see that these are thick, you'll feel them, and they'll feel safe to keep on. Next up is the shock absorbers. Now these can be highly maintenance, some if broke, but if you check if there's any leakage, that's always nice. Rustic is also a thing, so I guess that's cool. And overall, just check around, feel around, and you can also turn the wheel if you would like to check behind the caliper. If you would like to know, you would have to take off the caliper by this bolt right here and by bolt up here. Now in turn this comes off, you can replace the brake pedal. As per the video, we'll now be putting the wheel back on, but you can't just put it on the same way you took it off. What you're going to need is this cool thing called a torque wrench mentioned in the intro. Now, each car has most cars have a different torque range for their wheels and bolts. This one's set to 100.
Quarter, the extorter brings slaughter like, well, I order. I suggest you hand over the formula doula.
Other people may have different ones, alright? Now, there's many ways to put the tire back on. Most ways you're going to need some fat thighs. I don't, alright? I'm skinny. So what I do is a cool little tactic. It's like sitting like this, and then you grab the tire and you put it on your thighs and you push it in.
What? What the fuck?
That's just me.
With the Timberland, they left him trembling. He was not remembering.
Put the tire back in. It's important to note that before you do, the first bolts that should go in are in sort of a diagonal shape. This is the start, so you're gonna want to say, put on the top one, you go across and you put one of these down too. Follow my finger. 1, 2, and then 3, 4. You want to make it so it's easier to put on. Now, take your torque wrench, put your bolts back on. Before you do so, the torque wrench requires 2 dings when you're fully done and it's torqued onto the wheel. Now take it, position it, and keep twisting. In a moment here, it will make a ding. That's 1. That's 2.
Yeah, boy.
Now it's fully torqued on, and you keep rinsing and repeating this one task until you've done all 5 or 6, depending on your car and model, the bolts. Back on is torqued correctly. It's always nice to check it to see if it's stable, because if it's not, you might lose one on the highway and cause the death of family of 4. That's fine. And you're gonna want to safely release the car lift and slowly, as much as you could. And there you go. Not only did you learn how to change the tire with the proper tools, you also now know where to check for brakes and shock absorbers, because they're stupidly expensive at a mechanic just for a checkup. Thanks for watching.